later here. I mean, is it any harder to digest and swallow?
It was hard this morning. We had a meeting with the players this morning, and this is the first time we saw them as we were first time we were together as a full team was this morning. Definitely a down group, like disappointed, missed opportunity, all that, and it's a really good group. It's a special group. They really care a lot about it, and it's okay that they're down. They care a lot.
Use the term missed opportunity. Does it feel different than last year? It seemed like you were kind of upwardly trending a year ago, and whereas now, like that was kind of a moment you could have had.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Dwayne, our president, this morning. I'm happy that the bar is being raised around here. We did the same thing last year. This year as last year. We won 13 games, hosted a playoff game, and won it. And then stumbled in Winnipeg both years. But it feels like people want more and are expecting more, and that's all. Those are all good things, and we'll keep working at this, and get over the hump and get to the big game.
Have you watched the film, and if so, what did you think?
Well, we just never got on track. As a whole football team, we didn't get on track, and I know offensively too, we just never got in any type of groove. And you look back at it, and it's 18-13, and we got the ball at midfield in the fourth quarter, so we got as good a shot as them at that point, and we just didn't end up making plays to get it done, and they did.
Rick, where do you need to get better this offseason? What aspects do you think you need to get you to the next level?
We're going to continue to keep finding players, and we just need to improve as individuals, as coaches, and improve with players. And but we're going to try to bring a lot of people back, try to have as much continuity as we can. There's going to be changes, there always is, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. And I know our personnel guys are already all over it, and our coaches here will be doing evaluations over this next week, and kind of get a lay of the land of where we are, and then go from there.
Two glaring things that really stood out was one, the way that they pounded the ball down your throat. It happened last year's Golden Western Final, and giving up 9 sacks.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
No. Yeah, we got our bearings on defense after, not at the start, but I don't know what you rushed for in the second half, but we seem to get our bearings a little bit better. Obviously, we want to do that from the beginning, and I think I think a silent count definitely helps their defense. Not to make any excuses, it's just part of the deal. It's hard to mix up the snap count as much. So I think we were operating fine. It's just they seem to really thrive, when they're at home, and yeah, it's a different deal too when you're playing catch up. So we were definitely in behind mode, and at the end when we're having to throw a lot, definitely compounds that.
How serious are the injuries? Can you give us the update on your
I actually was just talking to both TJ and Hatcher. It's definitely both Achilles, but we don't know. It's not good, but we don't know about if it's surgery or not surgery of those things yet. They're actually talking to our doctors right now, and they need to see specialists, but those are definitely both long-term injuries. Now, I can't say yet whether it's 6 months or 9 months or that type of stuff yet, but it's definitely Achilles-related issues.
Do you rethink how this football team moves ahead? I mean, we know you've had a great aerial attack here. You've got really good receivers. Running game has been kind of suspect. Do you rethink in the offseason how this team gets over the hump?
Yeah, we definitely will, and I want to be smart enough to not make any decisions today. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to make sure we take time to process this whole thing and do all that. But our that's going to be part of free agency and the draft and who we bring in here. We're just looking for good football players and play to those strengths. But absolutely, the thing I like, just the vibe I'm getting from the people around here, the coaches and Neil and Ryan Rigmaiden and players, is there's a hunger for more. That let's find ways to get better. Sometimes every season doesn't end like that. Sometimes I think there's a hunger around here to let's keep going and keep trying to build this thing and find ways to get better.
How much of that hunger is fueled by the fact you're playing the Grey Cup in Vancouver next year?
I don't know if people will like this answer as much. For me, it doesn't mean anything as far as a football coach. I always, if someone ever said, we're going to try harder this year because the Grey Cup's in Vancouver, then I'd say, what the hell were we doing the previous years? That's where that comes from. Do I think it's special that it's in Vancouver? Absolutely. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great. Would we want to play in it? 100%. But I hope we have that attitude every year. I hope we. So that's where that comment comes from. Is I hope we're trying as hard as we can every year, no matter where the Grey Cup is.
Do you need to get more physical as a football team? Have more guys that can play in phone booths, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll see. We do a lot of good things, and there's areas where we need to get better, and we'll do that. And but there's a lot of good things, and we need to build around those good things, and then go from there.
When you watched the film, especially offensively, you never got on track, and you talked about them being able to take advantage of the silent count, and I'm sure VA was dealing with a bit of a knee at some point, but was there anything that really stood out to you about why you weren't able to get it going? Because it seemed like there were, failures across the board. It's easy to look at VA, but it seemed like there was more than that.
Yeah, I think it was a series of things. It wasn't a specific person or one specific thing happening, as they were able to get pressure, and we never were able to get on track and never could make those plays. And like I said, the game was even there for the taking in the fourth quarter, and we never found a way to make a play, offense, defense, or special teams, that just changed the whole thing. So, it definitely was not from a lack of effort or want to. That was definitely not the issue. It was just not ever finding that groove. And they played well too. I give them credit. I like to think when we win, we had something to do with it. And they played fast. They played with great energy, and we just never could come up with the play that needed to be made.
You've never been a running team this season. I mean, Smoke may be good, but you've had so much explosiveness in your receivers. You haven't been shy about not running the football because you were still moving the ball. And this is not a weather comment, but when your quarterback maybe isn't feeling it and they're getting a bit of a jump, like is there a need to develop that a little bit more?
Yeah, we're going to definitely look at all those things, and we want to be good at whatever we can be good at, and if that includes running the ball better, then that'll be a part of it too. And we'll leave no stone unturned as far as trying to find good players at whatever position it is. But like I said, I think there's a lot good about this team, but that we're going to find ways to make a few things better, which could include running the ball.
You mentioned there wasn't any added motivation having the Grey Cup here, but where this organization wants to get and in this market, is there added pressure to have that success and play in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the pressure every year to get into the Grey Cup. So that I hope my comment wasn't taken the wrong way about that I don't care, because that's not that I don't care. You understood what I was coming from. But I think the BC Lions on and off the field are in building mode and growth mode. And like I said, I'm really happy that the bar is getting higher, and that this was not a satisfying year because we didn't get to the Grey Cup or win the Grey Cup, and I'm glad people feel that way. And I think it's going to also highlight the Grey Cup as the stuff that's happened of getting people in the stands and players in the community and just things around town. That didn't happen by magic. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of hard work in our marketing and ticketing, and also our players being good guys and playing good football, that I think it's going to get highlighted during the Grey Cup, because there's a lot of people that have already put a whole bunch of work into it, and we're still a year away. So I'm looking forward to the BC Lions, being on display, around the city, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of good work.
How much of a challenge is it now moving forward, in the sense that you obviously want to perhaps add some more football players to this team? You want to bring in the right guys character-wise, because you do have something special here in terms of your team chemistry. So is that a balance that, hey, we want to find some guys, but we also want to find some guys that fit? Yeah,
you definitely have to have talent, but a lot of times in pro sports, the talent's pretty even, and it becomes down to character, chemistry, all those things you can't always quite put a finger on. But there's definitely people in this building that are good, the guys that you want on a football team, not only just from how they play on the field, but just what they're made of and their character. And absolutely, you have to have enough of those people in the in the room to get it done. So that'll always factor into what we do is not only are they talented enough, which is a requirement, but also that they're solid people.
How about as a staff? We always talk about players developing and getting better for next year. Second straight year ended the same way. As a staff, a coaching staff, how do you look back at this and get better from this?
Yeah, that's part of absolutely in coaching is you better be able to evolve and think in new ways. If you're just kind of stuck in your same thing and do the same thing all the time, it doesn't work. So that's part of what the coaching is going to be in the off season is making sure we're doing professional development and looking at what we do and everything. We'll look at everything from how we practice, why we do what we do, all those things. And I like that this coaching staff tends to be a little bit on the younger side from a standpoint. It's not just old guys that have done it the same way for 40 years, so they keep doing it. So it's people that I think are evolving and growing and are willing to look at new things, and including me, and we'll do that.
Do you anticipate having your entire staff back?
We'd like to. We want to have as much continuity as we can, and we're going to have those discussions. I'm going to start doing that tomorrow with our coaches, and we really like the group, and we're going to make sure that to be open to any ways to improve. And but we really want to see how many people we can keep around here. There's always going to be change, but I'm really hoping that we can retain a lot of coaches and a lot of players, and then build around that.
Rick, I'm curious what the conversation is going to look like when you have the serious meetings with you, Neil, and Ryan, when you sit down and honestly look at this football team, where you are, yeah, the bar's over here, but maybe not fool yourself on the fact that we still are short in where we want to get.
Yeah.
What's that conversation going to look like?
Yeah, we definitely, like I said, there's a hunger there and a recognition that we want to get better, which is good. Is where and that's part of what you do. We'll obviously have a plan of what we want to do, and then it becomes a moving target depending on things that happen and which people leave here, which people we can get, all those things. But I think I don't think there's any too big of egos where we're looking for, I know Ryan and Neil and me, we don't have the attitude that we don't care who gets the credit or what goes on. We just want to try to win. And I think that's how everybody is around here. And so we'll keep an open mind, and we'll see how that goes. But it is a process that's already happened of starting to evaluate us, and then going out from there. But it's a 24/7 operation for sure.
Building on JJ's question, mentally, how do you get past the kind of mental hurdle of getting by Winnipeg, even just looking ahead to next season?
I don't know. We just got to get out and play good football and win as many games as we can in the regular season and go from there. And everything evolves in football and changes year by year. Winnipeg, I give them full credit. Go to the Grey Cup 4 times in a row. Good. That's pretty good stuff by them. So that doesn't happen a lot. But everything's going to evolve and change, and every team is new every year in a new version. And we're going to be in the mode of know that we're knocking on the door, but we need to knock the door down, and we'll keep working on that.
Seeing as how you still got your GM hat on, and I know it's early, you haven't got a final diagnosis on the two injured guys, but
Yeah.
Generally when we hear about Achilles, it generally leads to a surgical procedure, which
Yeah.
can take 9 to 12 months. So how does that change your approach on those two position groups, knowing you could have your leaders?
Yeah, it absolutely could change, and that's what we're going to have to see what these doctors say on what it's going to look like and how long it's going to be. But both TJ and Hatcher are obviously really good players that we want here and want around here. So if for some reason they're not available, we're going to have to fix that. But we honestly don't know yet, and we'll see what the timeline looks like. But they seem to be a little better these days than they were even 10, 15 years ago. Like Achilles used to be like a death sentence for a player, and now you see guys that have had that issue. TJ's actually already did it. I didn't even know that, but he tore his other's Achilles in 2016, and you obviously have seen that he's been able to continue to play. A lot of times that didn't used to happen. So, yeah, those are good players. That was tough to those injuries are tough to see, those long-term ones.